Zimbabwe cash crisis worse. Talking about Venezuela once again.
Systemic important banks. They removed the 1,000 thing on there called monetary indebtedness. Hey there, hope all is well. Back at you today with some more RTD News updates. As you can tell from today's title, why is Tesla cutting more jobs? So recently I received an article from the RTD viewers, so I thought I would shine a little light on it directly in reference to what's happening in this global economic slowdown here. And so it's of no surprise that more layoffs are occurring, but it's interesting how Mr. Elon Musk here was very excited to use automation, of which it seems like in the short term he's possibly having some issues with that as well, but it doesn't really help overall, especially if you have to lay off some of your physical laborers as well. And so as always, I got just two articles I want to share with you. Be short and concise and brief, but before I dive into that, as always,
the numbers, they're pretty staggering. The vast majority of Americans have nothing put away at all for retirement.
Sometimes it's called retirement crisis, but people aren't doing well at all.
Has taken up the cause to rescue retirement.
For the first time since the 1940s, Americans are reaching retirement in worse financial shape than their parents.
This is not something that's going to happen next week or next month. We just don't have enough money.
So as I mentioned today, I have just two articles I want to share with you, but more importantly, this article here caught my eye because it talks about how over the last 2 years, Elon Musk was extremely excited about being able to pump out more cars. And so in doing so, the whole goal was to automate the process in doing so by lessening the need for human labor. And so it says here, Elon Musk wasn't wrong about automating the Model 3 assembly line. He was just ahead of his time. So here it shows in front of a Model 3 Tesla. And so scrolling a little bit, it talks about how 2017 Tesla announced incredible, ambitious Model 3 production targets of 5,000 models per week. Scroll on a little bit more, it says fast forward a year and a half, Tesla delivered 91,000 vehicles in Q4 2018, but the ramp up didn't come without massive issues and the move away from Musk's original vision of a highly automated assembly line. And so it says what happened. It says, while the push toward automation didn't pan out, Elon's answer revolved around one major issue: robotic vision. It says, or the software that controls what the assembly line robots can see. So it looks like the whole idea of automating sounds good in theory, but right now it's still kind of early. And so a lot of people were laid off during that time frame there as more of the processes were automated. And then it gives more information as to why that is. It says, unfortunately, the assembly line robots just couldn't deal with unexpected orientations of objects like nuts and bolts, or complicated maneuvering between the car frame. So one thing that the robots cannot do as of now is really deal with the fine, detailed things such as nuts and bolts or complicated maneuvering in the way that a human could. Every such issue would cause the assembly line to stop. So I imagine when it came down to the nuts and bolts of assembling that car, automated processes, the robotics aren't quite there yet, but it says, in the end, it was far easier to substitute humans for robots in many assembly situations. So at the end of the day, when it came time to put together the majority of the car, automating without human laborers does pay off. But one thing he didn't factor in, I'm sure, is the global economic slowdown that's underway right now, which leads to this other article. It says, Tesla's cutting more jobs at the Fremont factory. And so it's nothing new at all that there's a massive amount of layoffs going on. But it's interesting how a company that was moving towards automating still having issues anyway because of the overall health of the global economy. Scroll down a little bit more, gives you more insight. It says Tesla will cut 81 more jobs at its Fremont plant, bringing the total layoffs this month to a total of 883. So this is as of the February-March timeframe. It says additional job cuts reveals it is updating filings with California Employment Development Department dated March 1st, mostly target service technicians and tech support specialists. Sounds more like actual mechanics itself. It says another filing shows the company is getting rid of 4 more positions in Lathrop, bringing the total cuts at that location to 141. It says in January, Tesla filed the EDD detailed 1,017 job cuts in Fremont, Palo Alto, and Lathrop. Those were part of previously announced layoffs that were expected to total more than 3,000, or 7% of the company's workforce. It says Tesla's annual report shows it had 48,000 full-time employees as of December 31st, 2018. So that leads me to ask a question. How many more jobs will be lost before people really begin waking up and realizing that the global slowdown is underway, i.e. recession? And so when you have a company here that was going towards automation, proudly having issues not only with their software, but then also needing to lay off actual technicians or whatnot for their assembly lines, that lets me know that things are not in good shape, especially with Elon Musk receiving so much heat for his prior actions and whatnot, as to whether or not he's able to lead that particular company in the direction it needs to go. But because Tesla's a smaller car manufacturer, in order for them to survive in this economy, they're going to need to be able to actually get those cars in the hands of the people at an affordable price. And so that's going to be another issue they're going to have, because there's other reports out there mentioning that they had to lower the car prices, which then cuts into overall profitability as well. So that means eventually they're going to run into a situation where they're not profitable enough to keep the doors open to some of those assemblies that they're building. And so even though automation is geared toward making things easier and simpler, but it will be taking away a lot of jobs along the way. But yet it stands the chance of being a lose-lose for everyone if there's no jobs, if there's no disposable income for people to go out there and actually acquire these type of cars, or more likely a credit market where people can finance a car with nothing down for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So I think Tesla is going to be in big trouble, because this is a very unique case here where they make cars that the majority of people cannot afford and not too excited really about actually going into the electric hybrid type of car arena in and of itself. So interested to find out what your thoughts are, but I believe this is just a continuation of more layoffs that are coming in the days ahead, and Tesla is no exception, as well as all the other manufacturers out there in a variety of sectors. So we'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. More importantly, look forward to bringing you more news. Enjoy your day.